what if I told you that in addition to cash in your account, there are some creative ways to tap into funding to invest in syndications? And one example, not necessarily the right one or the right one for you, but just one example is 401k plan.
Welcome to Freedom at the Top, the podcast where professionals from various industries come together to share their journey towards reaching peak potential. I'm your host, Rafael Ramos, and I'm excited to dive into insightful conversations with our guests. With Eagle Summit Equity, this podcast aims to inspire and empower you to reach new heights in your personal and professional life. So sit back, relax, and let's enjoy the journey towards freedom at the top. Thank you, Alina, for being on the Freedom at the Top podcast. Would like to introduce Alina Trigub, the founder of SAMO Financial LLC and a TEDx speaker, is dedicated to making a positive impact by educating and empowering individuals to build wealth for themselves and their families. Alina's professional journey includes roles as a tax accountant at Ernst Young and private accounting and information technology sectors, followed by a successful venture as the head of investor relations in a private equity firm before pursuing her entrepreneurial and investment aspirations full-time. She also has a new book, Your Legacy on Main Street, Mastering the Art of Passive Real Estate Investing. Thank you again, Alina. May you also please share more about yourself and your journey?
Rafael, first I wanted to thank you for inviting me to your podcast. I'm very, very excited to be here and see you. I mean, I'm used to seeing you in person years ago when you still lived in New Jersey, but good to see you virtually now from West Coast.
Yes.
And great to be here. As far as my journey, you pretty much summed it up really well. Started my career as a tax accountant with Big Four. Quickly realized it wasn't for me, so found my way into information technology, where I had a pretty successful 20 plus year career. And while doing that, a former tax accountant spoke up in me, and I was thinking that I need to find a way to save on taxes for my family, as mine and my husband's careers were progressing, and so were our tax brackets. And that led me to real estate, where I first found a way to invest passively through real estate syndication, and then later took an active role, syndicated my own deal, and then later was able to build a well-diversified portfolio for my family on Wall Street and on Main Street. And that eventually led me to my career as an entrepreneur. And the best thing that happened to me during COVID was receiving a pink slip from my corporate job, because that allowed me to essentially cut the golden cuffs and become an entrepreneur and have the path that I'm on today, where we are buying commercial real estate with my partners in doing value add, and I'm also managing a community of passive real estate investors, where we provide investor education, webinars, one-on-one coaching, articles, books, and share strategies and share opportunities with our investors. And here I am today with that.
Yeah, thank you so much, Alina. Let's go to your new book, Your Legacy on Main Street, Mastering the Art of Passive Real Estate Investing. May you please share just some preview of some of your book that just came out?
Thank you, Rafael. Absolutely. So the book is called Your Legacy on Main Street, and I just want to explain it to the listeners that may or may not potentially know. Main Street means the alternative to Wall Street. So we all are familiar with Wall Street because a lot of folks that have W-2 jobs are offered 401k plans at work, or set up their own IRA plans, or invest in in the stock market directly, and that's the Wall Street investing. By Main Street, I entail everything else, and it's not my definition. It's a broadly known definition where Main Street entails investing outside the Wall Street. That could be real estate as one example that you and I are in, or it could be buying businesses or buying or investing in gold, oil, and so forth. So essentially, Main Street means everything outside of the stock market. And the goal of my book was actually to pass the message to the audience that it's great that you have access to the stock market and you invest in the stock market, but in order to have a well-balanced portfolio, it needs to be well diversified. And the best way to achieve that balance is to have some investments on Wall Street, but also have some investments on Main Street, where real estate is one of them. And I talk about real estate investing, specifically syndications, another passive way to invest, in my book extensively, because that was my journey. That's what I went through. And as someone who came to the United States over 30 years ago as a poor immigrant with my mom, I know firsthand what it means to go from nothing to something, because I essentially undergone that process myself and was able to build up the portfolio for my family and help many of my clients and put them on the same path by following my footsteps. One of the chapters in the book covers my own 7 steps to building generational wealth, which entails, of course, living below your means, saving money for investing, saving money for emergencies, and doing other multiple things. There are other chapters that are going into the details of what syndication is about, how syndication works, what are the pros and cons of it, what are the tax consequences of it. And by the way, when I talk about tax consequences, I always mention that these are just the facts from my own personal experience. It doesn't automatically mean that it'll apply to you and your personal case exactly. And I always encourage folks to talk to their CPA or tax advisor to make sure that these tax advantages are applicable to them, because everything is always based on a personal scenario, your tax brackets, your tax situation, and so forth. So everything always have to be discussed with the CPA or the tax advisor. And then I go on to explain how syndication models work. And the next chapter essentially covers what are some of the ways people find the money to invest in syndication, because obviously the most natural way people think is, oh, I have cash in my account, so that's something I can invest. But what if I told you that in addition to cash in your account, there are some creative ways to tap into funding to invest in syndications? And one example, not necessarily the right one or the right one for you, but just one example is 401k plan. Did you know that you can take a loan from your 401k plan and do whatever, including investing in syndication? It has its pros and cons, and always discuss with your advisor, but it's just something that people may not be familiar with, and I'm going over those opportunities and options in my book, and just giving a high-level overview of them so that people can then take the next steps and dive deeper into it, do their own research, and decide which one of these ways may or may not work for them, and essentially tap into it and tap into money and use it for either investments or other things that they want to do. And then I would not consider my book on real estate investing complete without touching upon mindset. Why? Because mindset shift played a huge role in my personal journey. I can tell you that, I have a growth mindset. That definitely would be an overstatement, but I can tell you that I consider myself a continuous learner. I'm constantly learning how to shift my mindset, from fixed to growth, and that entails continuing to surround myself with such individuals like Raphael, who's entrepreneurial in nature, who's about building wealth for himself, his family, and others in his surrounding. And I'm also continuously reading books on the topic and learning from other people how to shift that mindset and essentially become more open-minded in terms of opportunities, in terms of how I see the world, and in terms of how can I achieve my goals instead of thinking, oh, this is not achievable at all. So that mindset section is one of the last chapters in my book, and it takes the reader from the point where they may potentially have a fixed mindset to the point where they are hopefully opening up to the opportunities of shifting that mindset from being fixed to the growth mindset.
Thank you so much, Alina, for sharing about your book. I have a copy, so excited to read about your book. So you can find Alina's book on Amazon, and stay tuned to the end of the podcast. We have a nice giveaway from Alina as well.
Awesome.
Thank you. Let's go into your journey on passive investing and like the best qualities and what were your community and clients found. Maybe touch up on some great ways passive investing has benefited you or your clients.
Sure. So for me, the main benefit was that it was truly passive. When I came across passive real estate investing through syndications, I was working a full-time job and was raising kids. My kids are older now, but at that time my job was very demanding, and I had and I wanted to spend a lot more time with my kids. So managing my own properties was not really an option. And so finding an opportunity to be able to invest with someone else, where somebody else takes care of the real estate properties, obtain passive income from it, and in some cases tax advantages, was huge for me. So I was really happy about that. And later on, when I was able to take on a more active role and buy my own projects and invest and build that income, I realized how much work it was, and that was not and still is not a passive income. So if someone wants to become a full-time real estate investor, just know that it's essentially like starting your own business, because real estate is a business and it requires a lot of work. So it's up to you whether you want to be active or passive real estate investor. You just need to first assess two things. Number one, how much time you have, and number two, how much of that free time are you willing to spend on your real estate business. And if you have enough time and you're willing to spend that time and equity and sweat and have the stress, then go for it. And I'm not saying that real estate is the only business where you'll have stress. I mean, stress is present in any and every business, but the mere point here is that treat it as a business and be ready to spend a lot of time on it in order to build it up and grow and continue to grow, if you want to be an active investor. If on the other hand you want to be a passive investor, what that requires is an upfront learning curve. Why? Because you need to learn what real estate is about, what syndications are about, what are the tax consequences, pros and cons, and then you need to learn how to read the executive summaries and private placement memorandums. Once you understand all that, you'll be able to review the offerings that come your way and decide either on your own or with the help of your financial advisors or attorneys, whoever you decide to use to obtain that help or second opinion, what projects to invest. And the beauty of passive real estate investing is that once you invest the money, at that point it's truly passive, because at that point the syndicator, the sponsor, the general partner, which is essentially the same thing, that person or that team takes care of the real estate property, and your role is just to sit back and start receiving updates about the property and start receiving the distributions whenever those distributions are expected to come in. There's no more work involved, and what another great point is, you're not personally liable or responsible for that property. That responsibility lies with GP. Your role is done once you sign the documents and invest the money in a project. So that's why at that point it becomes truly passive.
Thank you so much, Alina. I really appreciate what Alina shared with the difference between passive and active investing and the time you need, and being with Alina and attending some of Alina's meetups previously. Wow, it's easy to learn, or easier to learn about passive investing and the different roles you can play. And if you really want to go into active investing, like how much work, but what is important for all our investors as well. So thank you, Alina.
My pleasure.
Have you considered how your money can work for you? Explore more about financial and passive investing on your terms. Enjoy freedom on your time with family and life. Visit eaglesummitequity.com today. Involving your journey, may you please share, and it's nice to know that you're a TEDx speaker. I know you enjoy mindset, but knowing TEDx speakers, being involved with the TEDx community and helping with the community and sponsoring, not just the hosts and the speakers, it just takes a lot of effort and time to make this event successful. So Alina, may you please share what motivated you to be a TEDx speaker and your journey as a TEDx speaker as well?
Absolutely, Rafael, and thank you for that great question. So my TEDx talk was on encouraging parents to teach their kids financial literacy at home from grade school on. The title of the talk is Money Talks. Are your kids listening? Which was essentially what was going on with me and my kids when I noticed what my kids were learning about financial literacy, or I should say not really learning much. I decided to take the matter in my own hands, and we taught our kids at home financial literacy. And at one point, after writing articles and speaking with other parents about this topic, I decided that I wanted to take the matter in my own hands and share it with a much greater community. And what could possibly be a better way to share your knowledge and reach a greater community than go on a TED platform and reach a lot of people. So I started applying, and after a year of applying for TEDx, essentially I was accepted into TEDx Billings, which is in Billings, Montana. And I was really excited about my talk earlier this month, where I was able to share my message, and I know it was well accepted by the audience, which was roughly about 200 people. Wow. And I'm hoping to have the same impact on the virtual community once the TED Talk is published, which we were told will take a few months. So that's pretty much it.
Well, congratulations, Alina. May you also share for future TEDx speakers what maybe some insights as well, knowing that there people in our communities, like we want to share our expertise, our value as well.
In terms of the talk?
Yes, or maybe just a tidbit of how to become a TED speaker.
Yeah, absolutely. It pretty much comes down to be the numbers game. You can find the applications online for different TED events. And the reason it's called TEDx is because the main TED event takes place in Canada once a year.
Hmm.
All other events are more or less extensions of TED, and that's why they're TEDx events. They are offered not only nationwide but all over the world. I was applying nationwide,
Wow.
uh, and it's a matter of finding the application, so, and completing it and submitting it. Uh, Sometimes they just ask for your information and samples of your prior talks at other events, and sometimes they want you to record the video about either yourself or about your potential talk. But you need to make sure that you pass your message across as to what specifically you want to share with the audience, or as they call it, what is your idea worth sharing. And as I said, in my case, I was applying for a year, and then finally, when the opportunity was presented to me to speak at TEDx Billings, I was really excited for two reasons. One, I've never been there. Number two, it was a TEDx. It was something that I wanted to speak with. My talk resonated really well with the audience, and it aligned perfectly with the theme of that event. So most of the events have themes. The theme of our event was "Tomorrow starts today," and we can absolutely perfectly say that when it comes to education, and especially financial literacy, that our tomorrow for as parents is our children, our next generation, and their tomorrow starts with us today, by us teaching them things at home. And when I talk about teaching kids financial literacy, I don't necessarily mean that you need to have a PhD in finance or financial literacy. No, not at all. What it entails is teaching your kids from your own personal experiences. What mistakes have you made? Because guess what? If your kids know what mistakes you made, hopefully they will take that in, and hopefully they will skip at least half of your mistakes. Obviously, they can't skip all of them. It's humanly impossible. But if they at least remember some of the lessons learned from your mistakes and skip half of them, that would be a huge benefit for your kids. Um, I also share in my talk different ways you can teach your kids financial literacy at different ages, anywhere between 3-year-old to 18-year-old. And one of my favorite things that I share is that as the kids get into, say, middle school and high school years, one of the best ways to teach them and to grab their attention is by playing board games with them. Um, and this activity actually has multiple benefits. Number one, you can teach them financial literacy, and it does not have to be Cash Flow 101 by Robert Kiyosaki. No, it could be as simple as Game of Life or Monopoly. Number two, by playing with the kids, you're essentially giving yourself time to have a casual conversation with your kids in a relaxed, fun environment. And number three, which is a rule, at least for our family, is when we're playing, and my family loves playing board games.
Uh-huh.
When we
Nice.
play board games, our rule is we do not bring our electronic devices
Uh-huh.
to the table, and that helps you to have that undivided attention, to have that conversation, not with your phone, but
Uh-huh.
with the person in front of you, whether it's your kid or your parent, and that gives you time together. It's bonding, it's fun, and it's engaging, and it's learning. So all of those benefits come in one when you're playing board games with your kids. And again, it doesn't have to be mathematical. It could
Hmm.
be a game of life. It's absolutely amazing. And just one last example that I also mentioned in my TEDx is, for our family, favorite game is Rummy Cube. So we love to play Rummy Cube, and I highly recommend it to others. Not only it's fun, but it's also strategy based, so it helps you to improve your strategy skills a lot. So highly recommend it.
No, thank you so much, Alina, for sharing your TEDx journey and how it can affect family and um, promote great things within the family as well.
My pleasure.
Let's segue into your achievements. You've noted 3 achievements of family time, TEDx, and not going back to corporate. May you please touch up on your 3 achievements as well?
uh, in life in general, entrepreneurial journey, professional, which one are you referring to in
Oh,
terms of
that's a great question as well. Uh, we'll look into general uh,
I
life
would say
journey.
the biggest achievement is having a family. I was thrilled to become a mother and very happy to have kids. And this would not have happened without the support of my loving husband that
Mhm.
supports me throughout my journey. And he was very supportive when I switched from corporate career of 20 plus years to the entrepreneurial journey. It's a huge step, especially for a family where the kids are growing and getting ready to go to college. But my husband has been and still is very, very supportive, and that helped me a lot. The second biggest achievement is what transpired me to write my book is essentially uh, you- after my mom and I immigrated to the United States over 30 years ago. We were poor immigrants, came with nothing. And what I describe in my book is how we came from that nothing to building that well diversified portfolio, the steps that I took, those 7 steps to wealth building. And all of the other chapters are based on my story, my personal journey, as well as on stories and examples from my clients, which I share with the name changed, of course, for privacy reasons. But all of that is based on my personal experience overall. And that brings me to the next point where anyone and everyone can achieve that financial stability. All they need is just the desire and the grit to execute upon that desire. But it's absolutely possible, and I'm the living proof of that. And my third achievement is being able to do what I want, where I want. And what I mean by that is I'm at the point in my life and career where I enjoy giving back. And essential and big part of my time now is giving back, whether it's to local community. I'm a big supporter, give a lot of my time and financial resources to my community, as well as to my 2 alma maters, the 2 colleges where I went to. I volunteer there as well by teaching
Mhm.
students how to do mock interviews, career development, how to apply for jobs and how to obtain jobs. So I try to give back as much as I can. And the benefit of it is receiving the notes from my clients, from students, and from the community, where, for instance, my students are telling me, thank you for your career coaching, because that helped me to receive the summer internship that I had this summer,
Wow.
which I couldn't have dreamed of before meeting you and stuff like that. And
Wow.
tons of those either messages or recommendations that are either on my website or on LinkedIn or in my inbox. And that's what warms my heart, essentially.
Wow. Such great things going on with Alina. So thank you for sharing um,
Thank you,
your
Rafael.
achievements as well. Um, let's go to what continues to, aside from all your achievements, what motivates you to reach peak potential through your journey?
It's a good question. My family and the desire to help others. I truly believe that I was given a place on this planet Earth to positively impact many other people, and this message is reflected on my LinkedIn profile. Um, I truly believe that what I've been able to achieve needs to be shared, and part of it has been shared through my book. But as I continue learning, I always share my findings and the learnings with my clients, and then through my social media posts and articles and interviews like today's with others, so other people can achieve the same results and better than myself, and have a better life for themselves and their families.
Thank you, Alina. Next question. We do face challenges, but what do you do to stay motivated when you face challenges of any type?
So for me, to be able to go through the challenge, I need to understand why I'm doing it. And for me, my biggest why it has been and always will be my family. Everything and anything I do is for my family. It's either to benefit them directly or indirectly by being an example. I'm doing this, I'm volunteering at this local community event so that we can make our community better, have more events, have more people want to come into our town. And I want my kids to see that, so that when they grow up and settle in a community, whether it's here in our town or someplace else, I want them to become or continue to be, rather, because they're volunteering now as well, to be good citizens and to think of how they can benefit not only their family but their local community, and help to improve and beautify and be friends with others and make positive impact on the society overall.
Thank you so much, Alina.
My pleasure.
Let's segue to the fun round of questions.
Sounds good.
Yeah. Well, first question. What is your favorite food or restaurant?
What's my favorite food? Probably dark chocolate. Yeah, any place that serves dark chocolate, I'll go.
Thank you. Um, what would you advise, or excuse me, what advice would you give to your younger self?
Start investing as early as you can, and that means start learning about investing. And again, I mean both Wall Street and Main Street. Um, Learn early and invest. As Warren Buffett said, there's a huge power in compounding. I mean, compounding interest. And the earlier you start, the sooner you will be able to amass wealth, and the sooner you will be able to do a lot more things, because you'll have a lot more time when you generate enough wealth to live off of that wealth.
Wow, great advice. Next question. If you could have a deep conversation with any historical figure or fictional character, who would it be?
Warren Buffett. I consider him my virtual mentor. I learned a lot about value investing from him, and I would give anything and everything for even 5 minutes of his time. But the best I could get is the books, and because I'm an investor in his stock, the best I can get is be present at the stadium at their annual meetings.
Next question. If you could learn a new talent, what would it be?
New talent. I guess I would like to start learning how to cook different foods. I mean, as of right now, I don't spend much time cooking. I only cook stuff that's quick or can be done quickly with, let's say, grill or air fryer. But if I had more time, I would probably want to learn how to cook dishes slowly from scratch, the old-fashioned way, as it was done before we had all these electronic devices.
Wow. Thank you, Alina, for the fun round of questions. Involving future opportunities or to reach out to you, what is your best way to get to you?
Oh, thank you, Rafael. For anyone who wants to reach out, they can find me either on LinkedIn or Facebook, or they can email me directly at Alina at SAMO Financial, the name of my company in the background, Alina at samofinancial.com.
Thank you so much, Alina. Let's see. We also have Alina graciously shared a bonus. So with our
Two,
post
two
of
more.
our two, yes, two bonuses. So one would be a free Kindle version of her new book, and then a free strategy session in either personal finance or alternative investing. So stay tuned for the post when it comes out. So thank you so much, Alina.
My pleasure, Rafael, and thank you so much again for inviting me uh, to your podcast.
Thank you so much, Alina. Um, is there anything else you'd like to add for our audience or for anyone listening?
I am really excited about this interview, and I hope that it will benefit those that listen to it and they will take the action of starting to learn about passive investing and will take action of starting to invest in real estate and beyond.
Thank you so much, Alina, again for your time, for being on the Freedom at the Top podcast, and have a great one. Thank you, everyone. Thank you for tuning into Freedom at the Top. If you enjoyed today's conversation, be sure to subscribe for more inspiring content. Feel free to leave us a review and share the show. Until next time, keep striving for greatness and aim for freedom at the top.